guys, so this video is going to be about faux locks. It's going to be about my transition from faux locks to natural locks. Just a bit more in-depth of the story and the good, the bad, the ugly, the struggles, everything that I had to go through to get to where I am now, which is, you know, this is the outcome as you can see. So basically, I'm hoping that this video will help anybody that is currently going through that transition or anybody that is thinking about doing that transition, because I know when I did it 5 years ago, there were a lot of tutorials and things of that nature showing you how to do the faux locks and the lock extensions, but there wasn't really much people telling you like their experience with it, because everybody was kind of now doing it. So nobody really had a, well, this is how my experience went type of situation, okay? So hopefully this can help. If you have any more questions other than what I answer in this video, please, please, please leave your comments down below. Follow me on my Instagram, crown_me_rastadol, and send me questions on that platform as well. So we're gonna get into this video, okay? All right, guys, so firstly, I'm going to talk about when I started my faux locks. I started my faux locks in either April or May of 2010. So I did it myself, and I used tutorials that I saw on YouTube. At that time, there were a lot of tutorials on how to do lock extensions, and there was a lot of just people with locks in general. So that's really what hyped me up more to get it, because I was like, yes, they here look bomb, you know. First tip I would say is to be careful and pay close attention to the type of hair that you are using, okay? When I started mine, I used 100% human hair. I used what was the name of it? It was Afro Kinky 100% human hair, okay? Now there's so many options. I saw like Cuban links and Havanese twist types of hair and jumbo Havanese hair, and there's just so many different brands. Like, there was not that many options when I first did my hair, I must say that. But ask the people behind the counter if they work in the beauty supply store. They should have other people coming in with these same questions, other people who are trying to do faux locks. Ask them what sells, what's the most popular, what do people like, well, which ones are people saying is good, which ones are people coming back and saying, I didn't like that, you understand? If you're going to a loctician, ask them, make sure, because that's, I think, the number one kind of fail if you are, but it all depends on what you're going for, okay, guys? This is specifically for people who want to keep their locks in. If you want it for a style and you want to keep it for a month or 2 months, by all means, go out and do whatever texture hair you would like. I personally just think, make sure you get a texture of hair that's closest to your texture of hair. Just make sure and pay attention, ask questions, okay? So that's the number one tip, because that is, to me, what kind of make it look real fake as your hair starts to grow out and you have your natural kind of texture, Afro kind of texture hair, and then you got this kind of straight, cankalon looking type of hair. Is just, it's not gonna. Tip number 2, okay, boom. So now we have our hair in, we're good, we're going, we're looking bomb, we feeling ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So now, I think the first thing that you start to see after a couple of months may be some unraveling hair, okay? So tip number 2, when you do get your hair or whatever hair you do decide to buy and you install your faux locks or your lock extensions, make sure and keep a pack, okay? Keep a pack. If you didn't use a whole pack when you were finishing, you have like an extra half a pack or extra 3/4 pack, keep that hair, okay? Sometimes the hair, because you're wrapping that hair around, it might fall down. It might kind of groove down as you're washing it, as you're styling it, as you're manipulating it. So you want to make sure you have some hair at home that you can go ahead and wrap around that lock, okay? Because the same type of hair that's selling, when you buy it 6 months, 7 months, 8 months down the line, the brand might not be available, neither might the color. So you never really know. Okay. When I was ready to cut off my hair was when I started to notice the difference between my natural hair that was already locked and the faux locks, okay? So as you went down the shaft of the lock, clumpy at that point where the faux locks are starting. So that's basically when I decided to cut my locks. To cut the faux locks off. And I tell you, I cut a lot. Say that I cut, if my hair was never, when I installed the Faux Locs, I installed it to about here. So I'd say to about shoulder length. So if it was about shoulder length, I probably cut off like this much in Faux Locs, and I just had like maybe this length here, okay? So it was pretty short when I cut off the Faux Locs. You have to go along with what you're seeing. Your eyes are your best friend. Look in the mirror. Look at what you're seeing. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Is it working for you? Do you need to start over? You know, like I had so many questions at that time, and that's really why I'm doing this video, because I really didn't know if that was normal. Is it normal? Did I do it wrong? Did I not wrap it tightly enough? You know, because I did it myself. I didn't go to a loctician, you know, and maybe if I had went to a loctician, maybe it would have been a better outcome, but I like the outcome. What y'all think? Styling your locks when it's in the Faux Locs. It's a bit more difficult because this is natural hair, but it's not your hair, okay? So even though it's natural hair, it's not gonna like take the moisture in as well. It's not gonna form the curl as well, and it's not gonna keep the curl as well. So I usually don't put heat on my hair, being that my hair is color treated. I just let it air dry. This might take a bit longer. This took a bit longer when I had the Faux Locs, and I did realize that it took a little longer for the curls to set, just because it's not your natural hair growing out of your head. So all these things you got to keep in mind when you're doing this, or keep it in mind for styles and drying and things of that nature, okay? Dyeing your locks when you have Faux Locs in, okay? So this was another thing that I spoke about in an old video, and I'll link all the videos below, and I'll just put the times where you can go to see exactly what I'm talking about, because like I said, the quality is, you know, it's an old video. The only reason I really kept it up is because it shows what was going on with my hair at that point in time. I did a couple dyes before when I had the Faux Locs in, and it never took, like legit. I did like a red color. It took it from black to brownish black, dark brown maybe, which looked black. I did a blonde, which took it to dark brown maybe, which looked black. Okay, so these dyes really had no effect on this natural hair. Okay, so this is another thing you have to keep into consideration. Parting, okay, that's another thing. When I first did my parting and my sections of my locks, I did them looking back now, and this is what this is about. You know, this is about helping. I wouldn't want anybody to go do the same mistakes I did. That's why I'm making this video, right? So looking back now, I probably would have parted my hair or made the sections a bit bigger, because as the hair grew, and this is something that I learned along the way, your hair locks grow, they get a bit thinner, you're manipulating it, you're putting band-aids on the end, you're doing all these type of stuff to it, and it thins it out a bit, you're palm rolling it. So as my hair did grow, it did get a bit thinner, and I actually like the thickness of my hair, but I must be honest, this is not the size lock that I was going for. I was going for a thicker lock. And if you look in the old video, you'll see that the hair was like the hair at the root was a bit thicker. I've already combined, at one point I went on a combining spree, and I combined a whole lot of locks. And I do think I have a couple more to combine just to get to the thickness that I was really going for. But I get a lot of compliments on the size. People even ask me like, oh, I like that size, you know. So a lot of people like this size, so I'm not mad about it, but I'm just letting you know for future reference, if you want a thicker size lock, make sure to part it a bit thicker, or it'll be a little thicker at that time, you know, for the year or whatever year that is transitioning. It'll be a little bigger than you wanted to, but trust me, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, it'll be exactly how you want it, okay? Please, 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 if you guys want a tutorial on how I did this process, on how I install my Faux Locs, leave a comment down below, and I will make sure to find me a natural hair, like someone with loose hair. I'll scout out somebody, and I'll try to do tutorials showing you how I achieve the Faux Locs. Like I said, this is for people who plan on putting in the hair and leaving it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, okay? Well, I didn't leave my false hair in for that long. I only left it in for like a year, year and a half, because after the year, when I did the big chop, when I cut off like most of the false hair, as it would grow out a little bit more, I would notice like some tips. And what really made me notice it was when I dyed it. Whenever I dyed it, I would notice like, hey, this don't look like, you know, it wouldn't take to the dye as well. So that's how I would know, oh, this is fake, and I would snip it off. So that's probably one thing that I would say is kind of a negative about starting with Faux Locs, because it's like when you think you're doing something and you think that you getting some length, and then you like, is this false here at the end? Oh man, and you cut it, then the length that was here, it goes up back up to here. So it's like, you gotta start over. That's probably one negative. But when you cut everything off and you start to take care of your hair and you do what you have to do, and you know your hair grows and grows and grows, and you good to go, and it grows out naturally, you have your nice natural hair, then you're not mad about it. Like honestly, I had to go look at some of my old videos to even remember the struggle, because now at this point, 5 years later, like it's non-existent. It happened. I dealt with it. You know, however I dealt with it. If you are going through that in-between phase where you don't really like your hair that much, or it's looking like either, like I said, either if it's in that phase where you're seeing the thinness or you're seeing the difference, because I think that's really the main issue that you're going to encounter going from faux locks to natural locks. That's basically the main thing. Everything else was fine. Washing it was fine. I didn't really have any issues with washing it. Once you install it the correct way and you install it tightly, it's not really going to fall out. It's not going to drop out. The most that might happen is it will pull down and you might see the twist underneath, or you might see your hair, or it might get a little stringy. So it's either you rewrap it with additional hair or you cut it off. Those are your two options. Oh, in terms of the ends, I was asked if I burned my ends. Oh, and I was also asked how I retwist. I've only ever palm rolled my hair. I've never interlocked my hair. And that was basically, it wasn't based off of anything. I just never did it. It just wasn't my thing. I just preferred to palm roll. It's worked out well for me. 5 years going strong. So that's one question that I had. Next question that I had was about how was I ending off the faux locks. When I did the faux locks, I never burned any ends. All I did was when I got to the end of the lock, however long I wanted it, the additional hair that was left, I wrapped it to the end, then I wrapped it back up, then I wrapped it back down, and I basically did this until the hair was no longer. So until I wrapped all the hair. So it kind of locked it in. I was also asked, like, when I cut it, how do I know? Trust me, you'll know. You'll know, and you won't cut your natural hair. You'll know that you'll see the difference between the fake hair and the real hair, because the fake hair might just clump up a bit, or you'll see it. You'll know. Trust me, you'll know. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're not gonna cut your real lock. You're gonna know the difference. Okay, one and two. I never had to. Well, I was asked if I burned it after I cut it. Being that I never burned it in the first place, no, I did not. And most of the time when you're cutting it is because your lock has already locked. So there's no need to burn it or rewrap it or do any of that, because your lock is already locked. So it's ended. It's ended, like, you know, like a lock. So you don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about that now. Just you know, take care of your hair, you know, put the love into it. It's like a plant, kind of, you know, you have to put water and moisture and love into it. And once you do that, you're good to go. So this video, I really hope it answered any questions that you had about transitioning from faux locks to natural locks, because yeah, I just wish that I had someone to give me some kind of information to let me know you're not going crazy. I know it looks a little crazy right now, but it's okay. It's okay. Stick in there and you will have your nice beautiful locks someday. Okay, so just stick in there. So if I haven't answered any questions, please don't be shy. Leave it down in the comments box. Ask me any questions that you want to ask me. Like I said, thumbs up this video so that I could go ahead and find someone to do this tutorial where I can show you exactly how I install my faux locks. And yeah, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be back for much more. Okay, so I hope this video is meeting everyone in great health and in great happiness, and yeah, stay blessed, y'all, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Deuces.